House take note of miscellaneous business.
Mr Speaker.
I call the Honourable Minister Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, this afternoon, yet again, we've had another couple of revealing glimpses of the true state of the New Zealand Labour Party, Mr Speaker. They had two particular points this afternoon. Firstly, during question time, I have to say the incredibly lazy, incredibly deluded performance of the opposition leader, who turned up and wasted 3/4 of their side's questions on a lazy attack on the Prime Minister, which was of absolutely no substance. It had absolutely no preparation. It had absolutely no point. And on top of that, he was well and truly spanked by the Prime Minister, Mr Speaker. And it's not as if this is the first time. He persists in coming down here with his airs and graces and pretending that he knows stuff, and absolutely is as shallow as a puddle, Mr Speaker. And that's, speaking of shallow puddles, the second glimpse we got of the New Zealand Labour Party this afternoon, Mr Speaker, was their incredibly shallow political attack on the PISA results. And actually, it's quite revealing if you have a look at it, Mr Speaker, because their first move actually happened yesterday, where they broke an international 34-country embargo to score a shallow political procedural stunt in this House before the results were released. It has to be the most juvenile approach to what is a serious subject for New Zealand. And they then, Mr Speaker, having made the juvenile attack, which was completely over the heads of most New Zealanders, they then proceeded to attack the government, Mr Speaker, for the results. Well, Mr Speaker, let me tell you one thing.
What's that?
These results, if we want to be political about it, these results were nurtured and created by the previous government. And some maths lessons for the opposition, Mr Speaker. 15-year-olds last year were 5-year-olds in 2002. And they were 3-year-olds in 2000. They spent their entire preschool and primary school years in Labour's utopian school system. So, Mr Speaker, people in glass houses shouldn't be throwing stones. And Mr Hipkins worked then for the Uber Minister of Education, one T. Mallard, he of the world is lying sort of accusation. And the deal is that that was the Labour Party's results. Now we can all accept that the numbers have declined. And that means, frankly, we are all responsible as a country. And because of the time it takes for education results to appear, everybody in this House has to have a look at themselves. Because this decline is not you. It's been around for a while. So even now, the maths decline in 2009. What were the numbers in 2009? 13. So they've declined since then. But what were they in 2000? We were 4 in 2000, so we declined then. So if the criticism is of the national government now, then what about that period? So, Mr Speaker, it is adolescent of Mr Hipkins, I have to say, adolescent of Mr Hipkins, to blame the current government. So let's accept there has been a decline. So let's say, well, what new innovative things are parties proposing to actually achieve with this stuff? Well, partnership schools, National Party initiative. Network for Learning, National Party initiative. Participation targets in ECE, National Party initiative. Youth Guarantee, highly successful, National Party initiative. NCA Level 2 targets, performance-linked funding in tertiary, and national standards in primary school, Mr Speaker. We need more of this innovation, but not less. And you can't measure what you can't manage what you can't measure. And the irony of the Labour Party and the Green Party in this House today using measures to criticise the government for having measures. That's what they were doing. They're saying the PISA measures are the things that we should have to criticise the government for measuring national standards. If that isn't hypocrisy, Mr Speaker, what is? And the sad part about it is they have no solution except to wind everything back. And that's the trouble for the Labour Party, and that's the other thing that we've noticed today. A lazy, inept attack, on national standards, and the fact that they have done absolutely no work and policy in this area except to say they should roll it back. And that says the Labour Party is lazy, the Labor Party, after 5 years in opposition, is still arrogant because they still believe they don't need any new policies to get themselves re-elected again. I have one suggestion for them. When they go away on the break, for goodness sake, do some work because your laziness is showing.
I call the honourable member